Hello there. Welcome to Jedi and the Mailman, the show where two old friends aim to deliver the best Star Wars talk in the galaxy. I'm Mike the Mailman. Joining me, as always, my oldest friend in all the world, Jimmy the Jedi. And we have a special guest, our
Yeah,
newest friend in all the world,
there we go. All
the
right.
Village Jedi.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hello,
Marina.
Marina. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you guys?
Good. I don't have
Fantastic.
all the snow that Mike has, so I'm all right.
It's a
Yeah.
winter wonderland here.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. So, Marina, can you tell us how you came up with the name The Village Jedi?
My favorite episode of Star Wars Visions is The Village Bride. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a deep cut. If anyone
Oh, I
hasn't
got
seen
it.
Visions, go watch it. At that time I had my hair cut pretty short, so I liked F, how she had that like bob. And she has a yellow saber, which is cool. So then it evolved. Village Jedi. That's me.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Very cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I found Marina was scrolling through TikTok the other day. Was it like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I think?
I think
Maybe
so,
maybe
yeah.
yesterday. Time is weird when I'm on spring break. But and I liked your stuff, your positivity. You're so excited about Star Wars. I absolutely love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your channel.
Yeah, sweet. So, I haven't been doing this very long. I've wanted to, but it's just my life's kind of crazy. Just when you get things started, curveball happens, it all kind of blows up. So I finally got on it, and I'm just super excited because I love Star Wars. I've always said if you can talk about something for hours and hours, start a podcast about it. So that's kind of why I started a podcast, is I feel like I can be really annoying when it comes to Star Wars. My friends and family can attest. So hours and hours, I just love to talk about it. And this is actually my second podcast. I started one a few years ago, and it was just kind of talking about my life and things like that. And that got old quick. I was like, this isn't what I really want to be talking about. I want to talk about Star Wars. So I started my own show. I haven't been doing it very long, which is nice because that means I have a ton of content to get through. Like, I was talking to my husband. He's like, what episodes are you going to do? I'm like, I can do literally anything. Like, I talk about all these other shows that I've been listening to. They've been doing it for a really long time. I love listening to them. I'm excited to start listening to you guys. But me just barely starting out, there's a ton of stuff out there for me to talk to, and I'm really excited to just get into it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes, you guys should go check her out. I listened to part of your podcast, and then I switched over to YouTube when I got back from my run, and it was your introductory one. So it's like what, 3 or 4 episodes in, maybe?
Yeah, not very long.
Where you interview yourself?
I do. Yeah. Yep.
So,
I'm pretty entertaining that way.
yeah, hey, I thought it was great. I don't know how you do it by yourself. Like, that freaks me out a little bit. Like,
Yeah. I get kind of used to talking to myself. I'm a house cleaner by trade, so
okay.
I'm alone pretty often, and so I'm kind of used to just like hearing my own voice,
Nice.
So, and I can
All right.
hype myself up pretty easy, especially if it's something I'm excited about, and you can hear that in my voice in a lot of my episodes. Like, I just get really excited with what I'm talking about, but I love the opportunity to get to do stuff like this because you're right, it is definitely nicer to have that backboard, like bouncing off ideas with friends, and but it's fun.
Very cool. Skywalking Ryan and the thing. He says Village Bride is my favorite episode of Visions Volume 1. So that's awesome. Ryan, happy Tuesday, everybody. My hog doesn't here. We got hello there. So, and then Clambrin and Lauren, you got to wait for Lando clones, man. You got to wait.
That's the good
Lando
stuff.
Clones. So just hold up. All right. So
I had a quick question,
go
if
ahead,
you don't
Mike.
mind.
No.
I've seen some of your stuff on the Instagram, right? And I've seen you have a lightsaber microphone. Kind of like your what do you call it? Your logo there. Did you buy that somewhere? Or did you make that?
Dude, I've had this since I was probably like 8 years old.
Oh,
I think my parents bought it at Walmart, so I've just kind of kept it very safe. Like, it's kind of all I have as far as like evidence that I've liked Star Wars since I was a kid.
Wow.
So it's seen better days, that's for sure. I like to feature it in my videos because it's just one of my like pride and joy possessions. It was like, $10 back then, but yeah. So it just sits right there. Pride and joy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Commander Taylor says hello, Marina. She's one of our hosts. She's one of the founding people
Daughters.
of Explore the Force. She is from Canada, Jack the UK, and myself here in Kansas. And then we've kind of expanded a little bit. We got Charlie and some other people, and we brought Mike in. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I have another question for you. And like I said, I've listened to so I know some of these answers, but I know other people don't. And the people listening later on will be interested too. What would you say is your like earliest memory of Star Wars?
My dad actually had all the the original trilogy on the VHS tapes.
Nice.
So we had in the playroom a VHS TV with a built-in player. So we had a few movies on rotation that we would play till the tapes burned, and they'd get stuck. We'd have to like wind them back up. But the original trilogy tapes he had on a shelf, and so because they were special, he was the only one that was allowed to put them in. When they were done, he'd take them out, put them back in the box. So that's my earliest memory with it. Besides
That's so
that,
awesome.
being terrified of Darth Maul, like my dad would have to tell me when to cover my eyes. Maul come on the screen. But yeah, I think that's the earliest memory is those VHS tapes, and I was not allowed to touch them, but I loved to watch them.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what is your Star Wars go-to? So, rainy day, you get the day off, whatever. What are you throwing on Disney Plus to watch?
Clone Wars, easily Clone Wars. It's so easy to just have in the background. I restart it pretty much as soon as I finish it. I'm rewatching that show a lot. Besides Clone Wars, I also like to watch Rebels. And then I'll watch any of the prequels any day. Like those are pretty much my go-to as far as what I feel like watching, what I reach for. And then if I'm really like I have some time and I'm gonna sit down, I'll watch Rogue One and or like kind of the stuff that I feel like demands more of my attention. But stuff that I've just seen a million times, it's got to be Clone Wars or Rebels for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great, very cool. So you're probably got to be pretty excited for the Maul stuff coming out.
Oh man, I'm super excited. I actually like in prep for this episode because I know you said we might talk about it a little bit. I was rewatching the trailers because a new one came out yesterday, and yeah, I'm getting really excited for that show. I think it's cool they're going to do double drops every week. Big fan of that. I don't like when they just keep us waiting. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Very cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, we will be reviewing those shows as they drop. Well, the day after they drop.
Excellent.
That's we kind of created this channel as well, just a way for Jimmy and I to catch up and talk Star Wars every week. But we also, every show that's come out lately, we would jump on and do instant reactions to what we just watched. Now with the Maul show coming out on Mondays, we're gonna wait until Tuesday to review those. But we always have on a guest, so we'll for sure put you in our Rolodex and have you back to talk Maul.
I would love that. I would love that. It's going to be a good show.
Nice. Speaking of characters that are awesome, like Maul, what would you say your and I know this is a tough question. I can never even answer it. I'm not sure why I feel it's fair to ask other people. Favorite character, favorite top 3 characters if you need. That's how I always had to go top 3. But
yeah, man, I'm a revolving door with that one. Like I said, just how often I watch it. I read a lot of books too, so just when I find a good character, I read a new one. But I would say because I'm a prequel girly, I love Ahsoka. I love Padme. But my all-time favorite character that I really do gravitate toward is Rey, which I know is not a popular pick, but I have my preferences with her, and I really do like her. Yeah.
She's well loved on this podcast.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm like, am I in enemy territory? Like, where am I?
That's one of the reasons we founded this, because we don't have, like, we don't love everything about it, but we would never ever like come down on somebody for what they believe, what
Oh,
what they
perfect.
love. So that's kind of what we did. We've actually brought people on that try to convince us to like Attack of the Clones and stuff like that. Because like as dudes, we just don't get into like the love story. But we
Right.
had,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now we see it. We still may not enjoy it necessarily. Like it hasn't really moved in ranking, but I can also appreciate it in a different way because like now I see how Charlie or Sydney or Jessica and all these different people have come on trying to convince us to like it. So I get a little bit of joy of that. So yeah, so you don't have to worry about anything here, and everybody in our feed here too. They're all super positive Star Wars fans, and
If they're not, we'll kick them right out.
yeah,
Oh,
we'll just give them
sweet.
boot. Plus
Perfect.
Charlie, we need to get you introduced to Charlie because you two have a lot to
Yeah.
talk about because she does a Rey
Cosplay.
cosplay that
Oh, sweet.
yeah, and hers is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So we'll talk after the show. But cool, yeah, Ray's great. I think I was actually just at dinner or at lunch on last Saturday, and people were like kind of complaining about Ray, and I was like, well, don't you think if we had more time with Ray, it would be a better story? Like we'd get to know him. Like, well, like Ahsoka, and I was like, well, yeah, but how did you feel about Ahsoka when you first met her in the Clone Wars
Exactly.
movie? Like,
Exactly.
she was like, I was like, who the beep is this little
Yeah.
thing? You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
now I'm like, and so I had this conversation with him. I was like, hey, listen, you can like what you like, don't like what you don't like, but just think about if we got to spend more time with her. We got
Yeah.
to watch her fail. We got to watch her lose. We got, we need some of those things. And I think that Ray will, I think eventually hopefully she'll win more people over.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's a big reason I love her is I started really getting back into Star Wars when I was like 15, 16, and that's when The Force Awakens came out. And so
I
to
was about that
see
old too, I
the
think.
main girl of the trilogy was going to be like this girl. She kind of looks like me, like we both had
Yeah.
brown hair, and like I was super into it. I thought that was really awesome. She's on the front of all the posters, and I'd never seen Daisy Ridley in any other project, so I was excited to see her. And so I think I just gravitated. It was the right age, it was the right character. So yeah, I
You
really
were
do like
exactly
her.
what Disney was looking for.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was the target audience for sure.
And there is zero shame in that. All the
Yeah.
guys our age who are whining and crying about it can just shut the heck up.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Like, yeah, what the heck? I mean, we were growing up. It was Solo, or we were Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? And the same people were complaining that somebody else is identifying with a new character. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you like, get into Star Wars however you want to get into Star Wars. Just enjoy it all.
Well, and I feel like the way that the franchise is headed these days, there's so much content and there's so much different types. It's not just cookie cutter. So when people say like, "Oh, this doesn't feel like Star Wars. This isn't Star Wars." It's like, good. Like
Yeah.
we need new stories, we need new characters so that people like myself can fall back in love with it with things that either reminded them of when they first got into it, or it introduces them into something that might make them want to fall in love with it again. So
Yeah,
I'm all for new.
Yeah. And speaking of new Star Wars, Maul, Shadow Lord, is that not different?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
I
don't we
have
talk
some
a
notes
little
on
bit
that.
about it?
I'm excited about that. Yeah. Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
Huggus says, I'm an OG generation like us, Mike. I enjoyed and love all the Star Wars since 1977, from Leia to Rey. Amazing variety nowadays. Absolutely, absolutely. So we got one last question, and we're going to dive into this Maul stuff. You said you read a lot. Have you been reading the High Republic? What are you reading right now?
I haven't gotten quite into the High Republic yet. I just dipped my toes into some books the last year or so, and there's so many. My first book was Ahsoka, and after that, I just kind of dove head first. My recent read, I just finished the Padme trilogy that E.K. Johnston did, and it was really well done. It enriched my rewatch of the prequels, just seeing the story from her perspective. So I think that's kind of my favorite types of books, is that era of stories, just because I really do love that kind of era. But I'm also really into all the books that happen post Rise of Skywalker. So this new book that just came out that I'm reading, it's pretty thick, and it's basically a history of the Galactic
Oh,
Empire. I'm
yeah.
sure you guys have seen that book. Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think it's called like The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
by
Yeah.
Kent Shaw. Yep, there it is.
And
Yeah.
it's dense. Like I have it
Yeah.
on my Kindle, and I'm like, because it's like reading a history textbook.
Yeah.
So, but
Man,
I
those are
like
the
that.
worst.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, snooze fest, but also I love this. So I'm reading that book right now, and
Nice. That's
it's really
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Before we dive into Maul, I just wanted to make sure that Skywalker and Ryan's still with us on this one. But Skywalker, Ryan, like what I got my Splinter of the Minds. I've never read this book.
Oh
Mike's
yeah,
got
I
it
haven't
now.
either.
I have it downloaded on my
Yeah,
phone.
so we're going to. I just wanted to let Skywalker. I wanted to let Ryan know we got it. We're going to start reading it, and then we're going to get you on here, and we're going to dive into this because we've never read it, and he was bringing up some stuff, and he was blowing our minds last week. Was that last week?
Yeah, last week. Yep.
Last week. All right.
It all blends together when you're this age.
Yes, it does. It does. All right. Let's dive in to Maul. We just talk a little bit about the second trailer. We'll kind of stay brief on this one because I think our conversation, I think that first conversation with Duel of Fate stuff is going to go a little bit, but I'm kind of curious where you were at when you first saw the. I always get confused. Like they showed us it in Japan at Celebration. Did they show it to everybody else? Like on YouTube, did it pop up? Or did
I don't
we have
think
to wait
so.
for it?
I don't know. The first I saw it was when the trailer dropped. Like I'd heard about it. But I hadn't seen any spoilers. So when the
Okay.
trailer dropped, that was my first, like, I'm sure like with the majority of fans, like
Yeah.
it just whoa, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So after you saw the first trailer, what was your hype level at? Were you excited?
I was scared. Like rewatching the trailer, dude, like he's scary. Like the way they frame the show and the voice actor, he does such a good job. Like after it was over, I was like, this is going to be intense. Like what are they going to do with this? So I was really excited, but I was also kind of shaking my boots a little bit. I'm like, hey, this guy's kind of scary. like, you know, when I was a little kid, I had to cover my eyes. Like that's how it felt. I'm like, oh, she was on something. This guy's scary.
I have a little PTSD watching this show.
Yeah,
I think.
no kidding. No kidding.
This most recent trailer, the one that just came out, it is shot. I mean, it is put together like they are advertising a horror flick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it
Yes.
has all those elements, and I don't know if that's what we're gonna get with this show, or if that's just the way they want to, to try to hook some different people in that might not want to, that might be a little adverse to this sort of thing. Check this out. But it's so exciting that it's the way they're presenting this is so different than
Yeah.
anything else. Like I love what they can do with the animation. It's just
Yeah.
the look of it's just gorgeous, and they're trying different things. It's just super exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I was writing in my notes, like the way they shoot some of the it would not be near as impactful if those scenes were drawn during the daytime. And the way they frame certain shots, you feel very claustrophobic. Like while you're watching, and it feels like you're kind of in like a thriller movie.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, the way the fights, man, it's just choreographed so clean. So I think it's going to be really, really well done. And like every other Star Wars project, the trailer comes out, and a lot of times that's only things from the first 2 or 3 episodes, maybe. So there's a lot left that we don't even know what's coming. So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Jack's in the group. Jack is another founding member here. He's dropping in. I need to rewatch the trailer when I'm not dying, because yesterday I was like not feeling great. I did watch it. I don't even know how many times. I probably watched it 4 or 5 times laying in bed. But yeah, I need to watch it now that I'm not like in a fever dream or whatever. So
if anybody out there wants a deep dive, check out today's episode of Explore the Force. The crew did a really great job, breaking down the trailer and going through it. And a lot of times that's what Jimmy and I will do on here too, is, break it down step by step, piece by piece. But we had a conversation before coming on that, 2 weeks from now, we're going to do a Maul pre-show talking about what we expect from the episode, what we expect from the show, what our predictions are, looking forward to and stuff like that. So we're not going to go too in depth on the trailer tonight, but
yeah. Marina, do you have any final thoughts on the trailer? The newest one?
I was just gonna say that I think the way that this show portrays Maul and the trailers kind of with him on the run, I've never looked at Darth Maul as an Order 66 survivor. And so the
Oh,
way this show portrays his character as just as much of a victim as all the other Jedi and the Jedi Order, I just think the way that it's almost like we're reintroducing this character because he's just on such a completely different path every time we see him. And
It's a
so
really interesting take.
yeah, so I think to see where he's at when him and Ahsoka part ways, then we see him again at Rebels. I never thought about what that time in between could look like.
Right.
And he is on the run. And so I think it's cool to see what they're going to do with that. I've never thought about him like that before.
Interesting. Yeah.
very cool. Very cool. Jack says he's watched it at least 15 times. So I believe it. Maul is exactly what the fan wanted for both. But yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like it seems real intense, real violent. Like I don't have kids, but from that last trailer, I'm like, I might have to preview it before I show my kids this show. Like there's a lot of people getting killed.
Yeah, even from the first trailer, like like how many people died in that first trailer? It was just like a massacre. And then this trailer has, like we talked about, has more of that horror feel. Yeah, this is animated, but this is not a show for kids, I don't think.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that shot when they're like firing at him and he's like he ignites the second half of his blade, you're like, oh, it's about to go down, and I'm terrified for them.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
I like the darker vibe. Yes, reminds me of Andor's dealing with rebels and factions, Empire rage. Yeah, now to see the underworld's anger, rage with lashings of revenge of the fallen Sith. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have read the comic book, the first one that's out. I like the tone of it. Was it Janix is the planet? It's got this CD. Could be Nar Shaddaa. Could be any of those underworld planets that we've seen. I think it's going to be a character in itself. They introduced Miranda Lawson in that. He's got this cop. I mean, because I think horror, you're looking at a cop show. Like it's gonna be. I think this might change some things moving forward for Star Wars. Just give different genres and things like that a chance. I'm pretty excited.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Well, cool. Let's see what this Jack says. Point to note on the lightsaber. He connects it together to make it dual. Whereas in the film, it's already together. So I'm expecting to see him make a new saber. Oh, yeah, that'll be sick.
Yeah.
New lightsaber. So, all right. Okay. So we're going to get on. I can't wait for that. I mean, again, we could probably spend another hour talking just about that too. But
yeah.
Jack said, I love how they made the Jedi weapon seem so innocent. Yeah. So, so Mike and I, we started last week on a Looper.com issue. We're looking for the guy's name here real quick, by Rick Stevenson. This came out January 14th. So Looper.com, Rick Stevenson. It's called 10 Unused Star Wars Concepts That Would Have Changed the Franchise. And we got through a couple of them so far. And then tonight, the first one we're going to start off with is going to be, let me switch back to my notes here. We're going to dive into the modern script changes for Disney eras. Let's talk about Colin Trevorrow's version of Duel of the Fates. And I don't want this to turn into like, oh, this would have been so much better, blah, blah, blah. What, you know what I mean? Like, how would it have changed? I think we need to look at it in a way like, how would it have changed what comes next kind of thing more than, I mean, because like, I think I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or not. Sometimes we don't really dive into this stuff, but you know, just trying to stay positive with it. Marina, how did you feel about the Rise of Skywalker and the sequel trilogy? Just to start off with.
So I really enjoyed the first movie, and I thought, oh, we've got so much potential here. Like everyone else, I walked out of the theater. I was excited for what the next era of Star Wars was going to look like. It brought in a whole new wave of fans, new generation. And then when the second movie came out, my biggest issue with it, frankly, was every other Star Wars movie that we have, there's some sort of time jump. And so when you sit down at that next film, your first question is, what happened? What did I miss? But there's only about 10 minutes in between episode 7 and episode 8. So right away, I was like, something feels a little off here. I loved all the creative risks that the 8th movie had to offer. And then the 9th movie really did feel kind of like a hot mess for me. Like there's a lot of aspects I like, but just from a writing perspective, because I enjoy writing in my free time, it really did feel like you could tell it was J.J. Abrams. It was his project. Like he did the Force Awakens and he really liked it and everyone liked it. And then he did not like anything that Rian Johnson did. And so he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do. It was fast. It was so I think if the directors would have been a little more cohesive, willing to support each other's visions, it would have been a little easier to swallow and easier to digest. But there just was a lot happening, and there's a lot of good things I can say about it, but I think it was kind of doomed to fail in a lot of ways just from the beginning in the writing room. And that's unfortunate to me. I think if they would have been willing to collaborate a little more, it could have been a little more cohesive.
Yeah, we've talked quite a bit about that on here. The discombobulation of just jumping all over the place with different directors, not having a plan. One positive thing, if you ever have time to get into the High Republic, it is the exact opposite of that.
Okay.
They're all thought out and planned, and everything works and weaves in between the comic books and all this different stuff and the books and the young readers, and it's just it's the exact opposite of the sequel trilogy planning. So,
Okay.
but yeah, all right. So, and people don't know some of the key differences here. No Palpatine, or how he didn't return, which might have been better. Rey's not related to Palpatine. Kylo stays the main villain. Finn and Rose spark a revolution on, I believe, Coruscant. And they have this whole Force philosophy thing where like light and dark coexist, which I think that's what Star Wars is. But have you guys read anything about this or like deep dives or anything like that into this whole Colin Trevorrow's script?
Just what they covered in the article.
Yeah.
And to me, it would have been a better movie, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to throw any shade. It is what it is. Some people really like it, but I didn't like the idea of the Emperor coming back. I would have loved that if they not recycle an old character like that again. I love the idea of Finn and Rose, like Rose not being relegated to the background. That was so annoying.
That's a big one,
like,
yeah.
You can see it in her acting. Just like, what a sport to even stick with it. You know what I mean? But every time they cut to her, it's just like, okay. Like just reciting the lines. There's no passion behind it. There's no nothing. Because like she had such a big part in the movie before, and now she's just cut right out. It was terrible, 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 terrible. So, I mean, I don't know how the Trevorrow movie would have turned out completely, but I would have liked some of the aspects that he was bringing for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen the biggest discourse is with Palpatine coming back. That's pretty much, if you talk to anyone who doesn't like these movies, that's one of the first things they say. And as much as I don't like to get negative, I do agree. I do think that was a lazy writing choice, that if you wanted to bring a big bad villain into the franchise, why not use one that we already used and then come. And so I think then that forced the rest of the franchise, okay, well, how are we going to make this make sense? So then you see the cloning with the Bad Batch, like all this time and energy has gone into somehow making this make sense.
Right.
When if there would have just been one or two discussions, it would have been, yeah.
And you know, it's crazy that they committed to all this, yet when they pitched the Kylo movie, they're like, I don't know how he could still be alive. And that was the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, just look at this movie.
Right.
And you couldn't cross that bridge to figure out how Kylo could come back to have, that movie. Like, it's just crazy.
So we got our Embo, Hondo, Rebo, Greedo, Mando, Lando combo. This is the Way 50s in the house.
Woo!
Excited to have him here. I mean, I'm working on those t-shirts, my man. So I'll let you know when I get those worked out. So yeah, I think for a lot of this, man, again, I'm trying not to like compare these two movies because we didn't get this one. It can sound great. My thing about it is too is like I was on if you go on Wikipedia and you type in Duel of the Fates, Colin Trevorrow, like they have a breakdown of I mean it is long, and I'm trying to decide like should I read this on here for people who don't know, folks. If you don't know what it's about, go on to Wikipedia and just type in Duel of the Fates, Colin Trevorrow script, and it'll bring up. You scroll down a little bit, and it'll just kind of walks you whole. It sounds nuts. I mean, you have Mortis involved. You have Finn and Rose being heroes. They're going back and they're inciting a stormtrooper like basically like mutiny. You've got 7,000-year-old Sith Lord, training. I mean, you just have all this. I mean, it is so Star Wars. But here's the key: Princess Leia, General Leia Organa, was paramount throughout that storyline, right?
Oh yeah.
So Mike, and I don't know the timing of it, and I didn't really have time to look it up today, but I'm curious because like Carrie Fisher, she died before The Last Jedi came out, right? Like before it got, because I remember there was so I mean I don't know how you guys felt about the CGI or whatever, the deep faking stuff that was in The Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was fine. But you couldn't have made a movie. You couldn't have made the movie they wanted to make.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to. Yeah. I don't know. There's always the opportunity to rewrite and change that, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, and no shade to Carrie Fisher. I love Princess Leia. I love Carrie Fisher. She's amazing. But they easily could have just taken her out and written something else in. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have as much Carrie Fisher in your life as you can get. You know what I mean? You don't want to, but I don't know. I always feel weird when they go to the AI and the deep fakes and stuff like that like even Rogue One, like bringing back, what's his name?
Tarkin.
Tarkin. Yeah. It's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure the technology is a little bit better now, but it's just weird seeing like that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want a main character again in one of these movies to be that deep fake. But yeah, there's so many good ideas that Trevorrow had that you didn't have to run with all of them. You could have somehow changed things up and taken most of that.
Somehow the script doesn't suck. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, if because according to what this is, a lot of her character is, it explores her relationship with Kylo and kind of helps him decide whether or not he wants to make a sacrifice for good in the end. So if you're wanting to explore a mother-son relationship, I think there's a way to do that without having a lot of the mother. Like you could have his relationship with Rey, their open communication. You could have him just relaying memories with his mom. You don't necessarily have to show it as much as it could just be, I remember when she told me this. Yeah, she said this, because they do have that established relationship where he talks to her. He shares intimate things with her. And so if that was the goal of having her strung through the movie, is exploring that relationship, there's ways to do it without relying on an actress to be there to fill that role, in my opinion. And then as far as like, okay, well, we wanted her to play a role as a general, Mon Mothma, Admiral, Holdo. I know she died, but there's characters in the rebellion, in the that could step into that general politician role as well. So
absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Well, my big thing too is like, so we know where we're at now. I mean, we don't know where they're going to move forward, right? Because the next movie we get next year is going to be the first thing past The Rise of Skywalker. So we don't really know where it was going to go, but it would have changed Rey's trajectory a little bit, I think, and Kylo's, right? I mean, I think he dies in that version as well.
Yeah, he does.
But how does that affect like the characters that are left? Because then you'd have Rey and you'd have. I mean, I think in the what I read, it said that Rey takes over. Finn and Rose have force sensitive children, and she kind of like takes them on as like some of her first Padawans and stuff, I think is what I read. So then, or we have Finn screaming throughout the entire movie, Rey! I tell you something, Rey! Learn how to control the volume of my voice, Rey! Right? I don't understand. Isaac got done so dirty in these films. These two great actors, and all they do is scream their lines the entire time. But so you have this hint of like, oh, he might be force sensitive. You don't know. This is gonna set like, bam, this is here. Let's move forward from it. Like, do you guys like that idea better, or do you like like? I mean, I know we really don't know what's next. Like, this movie would have been like, oh, this is next. Like, Rey's gonna start a Jedi Order, and this is going to happen, and everything that comes from that, which obviously smarter people than us will be writing these stories and getting paid millions of dollars to do it. So which would you prefer? I guess, I mean, I think it would have changed it a ton.
Yeah.
So,
No,
I think go ahead, Marina.
No, go ahead, it's okay.
Well, I was going to say is I think what we have now is a clean slate, because of the movie we got. It's wiped the slate. We didn't give those actors anything good to do, and now they are pissed off and hate Disney and don't really want to come to work. Like, unless they they throw a pile of money at them, they'll swallow their pride and come back, I'm sure. But it seems now like they're written off, when we could have given them something to really do in that third movie, and they would have left with a better taste, and everybody would have been happier with what the outcome. And you're making them main characters and stars, and you can move forward with that core cast into another trilogy, or just more movies down the line. Now I think there's no way that you're going to have Finn or Rose, or they're gone. Like, they're not coming back at all, and that's a shame, because there are moments. There's definitely potential for those characters, and there's moments with those characters that people love and you'd like to see more, but it's all gone now. And to your point, Jimmy, it's that movie, the way they decided to go has completely changed the trajectory. Whereas I think Trevorrow's version would have given us more of being able to continue to explore these characters and, go forward with these characters. What do you think, Marina?
I was just going to say, I think a big factor that needs to be discussed also is that the next movie will be under Dave Filoni's helm. And so he has been behind the scenes. He created the World of Worlds. He created all this science stuff with the Bad Batch. He's done a lot of the heavy lifting to make the sequel trilogy somewhat more palatable for fans. And so if he's going to be at the helm with this new movie, he's going to reintroduce some of those ideas. He's not just going to completely abandon everything that's in the show. I think we could see World Between Worlds. I think we could see Rey and Grogu together. So I really do think he's done a good job with kind of a dumpster fire of a trilogy, making it make sense with all his hard work behind the scenes with the animated shows. And his next movie, I think it could be successful just because of that factor alone. I think if Kathleen Kennedy was still at the helm, we would be like, what the heck is coming? But because he's kind of taking that role now, the next movie very easily could be cohesive and make somewhat sense. I don't know.
Let's
That's
hope.
what I think.
Yeah, let's hope.
They need to do something. I feel like I know. Oh my gosh, who's directing Starfighter? Michael.
Oh.
It's
Oh
my gosh, why can't I think of his name? But regardless, like, I know, is it not? No, Zack Snyder, Michael Bay.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Why can't I think of the director? Anyways,
I'll look it up.
Finish that movie, or that movie has to be, that movie has to set the tone for something like. That's why I think Rey has to be part of that movie, at least at the end, right? Sean Levy.
Levy.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. God, I hate
Do we
Jimmy and I are in our 50. Like, these moments are going to happen more and more.
Do we know yet when that movie is set? I haven't done a lot of research on it.
5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, I think.
Okay. Okay.
I thought it was more, but I'm not gonna lay my nickel down and say for sure. But it is a good ways after. Yeah.
Yeah, then I agree. I think that movie could very well set the tone for the rest of what we see, especially with her character. I hope her movie gets pushed forward. I hope that Ben Solo's movie gets explored. All three of those movies, I think Dave could really make something happen that was not set up for success when it was left. Like, okay, here you go. Do with this what you will, you know. But I think he could make something happen.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dave era and see what may come of it.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's got full reign. I mean, it'll take him a while to get things. Just so much change at Disney and Lucasfilm all at one time. It's kind of crazy, but maybe it's what we needed. I do think
Maybe.
the only thing I'm gonna one last thing on this Duel of the Fates thing. I loved the Luke and Leia training scene. The
Yeah.
CGI not
Mhm.
great, I get it, but to get to see Leia, like, she was a Jedi and then she took it and she just, I don't know if we get that moment, obviously, in Duel of the Fates. Do we know? I don't know why that's one thing that I've always really enjoyed about that movie was that, you know, we got to see that aspect and we got to think about like Luke training. Like there's so much story there they could write
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that whole backstory. I know we're getting Leia and Rey's book Legacy, I believe it's called, coming out in June or July. I can't remember exactly. And then so we're gonna get some training stuff there. So that'll be cool. And again, like Maureen, like you said, they're working very hard to put out the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I kind of agree with all that stuff. So, what is Ryan? He said approximately about 5 years after. Okay. Again, all right. So, but yeah, all right. Any final thoughts on Duel of the Fates, Colin Trevorrow versus kind of? I mean, it's really hard not to say versus what we got. Skywalker.
I
Yeah.
will say I think having discussions like this about what could have been, what we wish, I don't think it's a bad idea because it really does help the franchise keep a pulse on what the fans want. Like John
Yeah.
and Dave are very good at that. They know what the people want. There's a measure of fan service, but it's never throwaway and it doesn't feel cheap. And so I
Yeah.
think having discussions like this from time to time is a good idea because it does help them see maybe what direction the fans would like it to go.
Yeah. And not to toot our own horns, but this is the way to have those discussions too. Not in some forum where you're just bashing, this is
Right.
terrible, this is terrible. Like constructive conversations where no one's yelling at one another and, be civil.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
No, in the grand scheme, it is just a movie. I mean, it's not real. I don't know if people remember that sometimes. It's not
Wait,
real life.
it's not
But
real?
no, I know, Mike. I have to
What?
keep reminding you this. But the Luke and Leia training. 50 says the Luke and Leia training scene. As fans, we needed to see it. It was to see. It was convincing enough for us. Yeah, I love that scene. I don't know why. I mean, I know when she takes off her helmet, it's not great, but it just felt like there's so much story and everything with that. But all right, so the next one here, we kind of got. This is why I don't know exactly where they were going, but Darth Revan and Darth Bane were supposed to show up in the Mortis arc. So I guess we need to focus on how that would have changed the Mortis arc, the ramifications of that, because I mean everything we're getting in Ahsoka season 2. I mean, I think it's Mortis arc driven, and there was stuff from the Mortis arc in Trevorrow's concepts for that. But real quick, proposes Revan and Bane proposes Force spirits advising a dark entity cut because it suggested the Sith could survive like Jedi. This would have changed Force lore. And basically, it was, from what I read, it was developed, it was written, it was partially animated. And then Dave and George at the last minute decided to take it out because they couldn't see Revan and Bane and Sith Lords having the same abilities as Jedi to reconnect with the Force. Although, I guess I should ask this question. I know we have the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force, but it is just the Force, and we use it in the ways we want. I don't know. do you guys have a problem with that though? If like Sith Lords could come back, because we've seen a lot of them interjecting like their spirit or their souls into like the helmet for the Vader stuff. In what was it, the Sith book with Luke and Lando? She was
Yes.
wearing the helmet,
Yes.
and it was taken over her. We've seen it in different things. When we got to see Darth Bane in, was it season 6 of Clone Wars with Yoda? Is my first question, I guess. Would it have changed that much if super powerful Sith Lords could do the same thing as like a Jedi, like with the whole Force Ghost thing?
Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
don't think so, honestly. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't think so. I feel like you were saying, we have enough content already that it wouldn't be a stretch. Like,
Mm.
and like you're saying, the Force is the Force. So who is ever wielding it, I feel like the power should be the same on either end. Should it be more powerful or not? I think that's a discussion for other fans to like decide. But I think it's up to the individual. So whether you're good or evil, that should dictate what you're able to do with it, in my opinion.
Nice. I like that answer.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being different than what the Jedi can do. Like, if you think the Sith are very self-centered, very self-serving, I don't like the idea of them being able to be like a Force ghost that would come back and help someone. That doesn't make
Yeah,
a lot of sense to me.
I can agree with
But
that.
yeah, but like you were getting at though, like with them possessing an item, like like the stranger's helmet, and trying to persuade somebody, or almost like a possession sort of thing. Like
A
they
couple of the books, there
inhabit.
isn't absolute possession of people.
Yeah,
In
I,
I can never remember it. Shadow of the Sith. I mean,
yeah,
that helmet's basically taken her over.
I like
So,
that idea. You know what I mean? Because that's it's still them being selfish and living through, taking over someone else to continue to push their agenda and push their power and whatnot. I like that idea for the dark side more than, I can't see a Sith Lord coming back and trying to assist
be
another
helpful.
Sith Lord. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
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 No, I can see both. I like it though, because Mike, you kind of like you stream towards like, they are selfish and that's what separates them from the Jedi. So that kind of makes sense. But then in the grand scheme of things too, like they're still using the Force. So
Hmm.
why would they come back though? I guess, I can kind of see like right down the middle of that. Like, why would they
Yeah.
come back? iHogda says our compensation for the sequel should be a multi-season Skywalker saga animation like the Clone Wars, but for the sequels and the whole Snoke pout buildup. Yes, please give me
Yeah.
some Clone Wars style animation, but with Skywalkers. That would be nuts.
Yeah.
So, and we said no issues with Sith resurrections. Just write them well. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
really write them well and plan. What? That's crazy. Who would plan something?
Yeah. Practically any idea can work if it's well written and, well thought out.
So yeah, I mean, what else did I read about? Okay, so Bane and Revan were going to help the son. They were going to be helping him
Hmm.
during the Mortis arc. It sounds like the Mortis arc was very different than what
Yeah.
we got. So, I mean, it's one of my favorite arcs. I mean, we spent three episodes, hour-long episodes, breaking down those arcs. So I'm kind of partial to them. But how did that change if they could come back and they're talking to him? And I just kind of think about Yoda when he meets Bane, he kind of has to wrestle with his dark side of himself and he conquers it. That was kind of cool if we got something
Hmm.
like that. But what do you guys think? How would that have changed Mortis if Bane and Revan would have showed up?
I really don't know. I was looking at this article and I saw those names, and I actually don't know a ton about either of those characters. I know they're pretty prevalent in like Legends, and then we
Mhm.
see them in one of the games. So I'm not super well versed with their characters as well as I would like to be. So I really don't know, like, as far as how I think they would have showed up or how it would have impacted the story, just because I don't know a lot about their characters. So I don't know what they would have had to offer for something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy and I are kind of the same boat. We didn't read a lot of the legend stuff, and we're not
Mhm.
well steeped in that sort of thing. But I don't know if Bane and Revan are helping the son, and it's going to lead to maybe some sort of power in the afterlife for them. You know what I mean? If they're
Yeah.
like if they're working towards godhood or demigodhood or something like that, like it makes sense to me. It would work. But beyond that, I don't know. Maybe it's just my lack of imagination, but I can't, I don't see it working unless there's something in it for those Sith. You know what I mean? Like, just right back to that. They're selfish. They're not going to do things just to help somebody out. But
Yeah, I mean, again, not I mean, I don't know a ton about them. That's why I never get too wrapped up
yeah,
in the I mean, Keanu Reeves in Star Wars, yes, please, but I don't know much more than that about the characters. So I don't know. I'm really liked the Mortis arc. So I think that they made the right call.
yeah,
And I think using, I believe it was Bane at the end of that episode where, Yoda's going off and dealing with like the wills and of the force and all that stuff. I thought that was really cool. It kind of sticks to the way things are. I think that was fine. I don't know. I think
mhm,
maybe they made the right call. That last minute decision to pull that, I think was the right call personally.
yeah. And I think we'll know more too after Ahsoka season 2 as we get more
Yeah.
into the Mortis stuff. So
I was just
yeah,
about to say that. I think this article helps us understand, like, if they ever did change anything in that way where it seems like it would be a pretty major alteration, the Mortis arc would not be what it is now. And what it
mhm,
is now, it's very easy to understand. It's simple. There's a lot of open doors,
mhm,
and there's a lot of direction we can go creatively without it being too many factors.
yeah,
So I like how it is, and if they would have done anything to make it different, I don't know if I would have liked it. So
yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah, I think, yeah, like you said, it had pretty big ramifications for everything that we know about Mortis and everything we learn moving forward here in Ahsoka season 2. But all right, our last one. I can't believe we're making it to 3. I thought there's no
Well,
way. So originally, this one's crazy, and I hope that Brando's still here, but
yeah.
this one is bonkers to me. Lando Calrissian or Lando Kandar, I think was what the original name was
Mhm,
supposed to be a clone and be like a leader of the clone. So he was going to be what Tim Morris was going to be, from what I understand. Like what
fair.
I've read is like the clones were going to be. Now those are some cool clones, all
Heck
right?
yeah.
The Colt 45s and
Imagine,
you know what I mean?
imagine the Clone Wars with all of them being Landos.
Like
yeah.
Man,
hey there, lady. They're charming their ways up,
smooth.
just charming their way across the galaxy.
Mm,
No guns needed. Let's just
nope.
talk about it, man. Let's play some sabacc.
Charm
Let's
the
just
pants right off them.
here, try on my cape, kind of thing going on.
Not the cape.
So, so originally,
Oh wait. What would the remember that clone that they wouldn't let him, like he was kind of off and they wouldn't let him out, he was just like the
all
janitor and
99.
stuff. Yeah. What would that Lando look like?
I I don't
Oh.
know. Ouch. Yeah. So begun the Lando Wars have. There we go. Ryan said this is true. Lando clones were an original George Lucas idea. Yeah. So he wanted to start to explain a little bit about that throwaway line that gave us the Clone Wars and the prequel, some of
Mhm.
the prequel stuff. In That's where it was all going to start. And I maybe we're just so immersed in what we've got that I just don't
Yeah.
see this working at all. Like,
No.
imagine Lando not
Well,
being a scoundrel and being on Bespin and
mhm.
being who he is. How does that? I mean, what kind of start? Like, try to think about Empire Strikes Back without Lando Calrissian the way he
Mhm.
was. Like, I
Yeah.
don't. I usually have a pretty active imagination. I cannot picture this at all.
So,
Like, I
No.
okay. Are you guys, because I haven't listened to the show very much, are you guys fans of Dune? Like
oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm sure you've seen research then that a lot of George Lucas's ideas came
Mhm.
from Frank Herbert, and so I
Mhm.
almost wonder if this was like a Duncan, Idaho situation where it was like
Oh, yeah.
he's a clone,
Mhm.
but like so I'm like I just kind of put that together because that trailer dropped today too, so I've got Dune on the brain and
Oh yeah.
so I almost wonder if it was that where George was like, well, there's a clone in Frank Herbert's story and he made it work
Mhm.
because there's so many concepts when you compare the two. And so I almost wonder if that's kind of where it came from, where they were clone soldiers, but who would be a clone and how could I pull them out from under the rug? There's still one more movie after this one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from George way
Yeah.
back when is like maybe this is kind of where it came from.
Yeah. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned out. He had this idea that, just about using clones. And I think it was just because when they got um Lando became Lando, when the actor came in and played Lando that way, it's like, yeah, that clone idea was not going to work. Like, this
Mhm.
guy is slick. He's cool. This is the Lando we need.
Right.
There's no way the technology would have pulled this off either. This would
Oh
have been
no,
No.
God.
I mean, this would have been a mess. So, Lando made Empire so good. Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Alright. Yeah, I'm sitting there, and as soon as I read this, I read the article, and I was like, "What? Like, that sounds crazy." And I'm still convinced, like, this made me think, like, I'm glad George didn't have complete control of things quite yet,
Mhm.
'cause this could have gotten real weird. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, this could have gone off the rails kinda weird. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
so, um, I just
Yeah.
the
I
backstory between him and Han, like, we wouldn't have
Mhm.
gotten. I mean, I
Nope.
watched Solo last night because I wasn't feeling good. I'm like, "I need to feel better," and
Yeah.
Molly put on the wife's like, "Alright, I know it'll make you feel better when we watch Solo." So, it always makes me happy. But, yeah, I just man, it is kinda crazy. He was gonna be, like, the leader of his group, so we still got that concept because he's the leader at the, at Bespin, Cloud City, and all that kinda stuff, so some of that stuff kinda pushed its way through, but
Yeah.
this would have changed a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
I can't see the Lando clone idea just because of
Yeah.
Billy Williams did so awesome. But I would love to see, now that we have the clones and we know who the clones are, they're Tem. I would love to see an exploration of a planet of the clones. Like, after the war, they go establish a planet and like explore that a little bit. That would be great.
Yeah.
oh,
The
Well,
clones that we did get.
yeah, and I had this discussion with a friend pretty recently that we see that a lot in the Bad Batch with Rex and kind of
Hmm.
the other clones that he's liberated, that they were the first rebels
Hmm.
of the Empire with Senator Chuchi. And so I think if
mhm.
there were some sort of exploration, whether it be a book or a comic, where we just see them trying to acclimate into society
Yeah.
while still somewhat sticking together, that would have been a very good
Yeah.
concept in my
For
opinion,
sure.
because they do want to stick together at first.
Hmm.
So
I thought that's
yeah.
what we were getting. Like, I thought we were getting an offshoot after Bad Batch was done. I thought we were getting, like, a Captain Rex and Echo
Mm,
Yeah.
rallying the troops, collecting people, because every time we get a new, like, the clones are so interesting to me. They have Hauser and all these other characters, and every time they introduce new ones, like, I don't know if you guys are, Lamar Giles introduces new ones in the Bad Batch book, Sanctuary, and they all, for all being the same, they're all so different. And I would
Hmm.
love to seen them like on a mission and trying to like hide where they're at. Like, it would have been,
Yeah.
could be a really, really good show. Just them struggling with what do we do now, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see, what do we see? We see one clone trooper. In live action, all we've gotten was Tem playing that clone trooper on, I can't remember the planet, but in Kenobi, and that's all we've
Mhm.
really seen live action wise.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like?
Yeah.
So, Planet of the Clones, I'd watch that.
Hmm.
Jar Jar
Well,
Binks.
and I think too, I'm glad that this didn't pan out because it goes to show that it makes George look better. that throwaway line, say in the Clone Wars, it makes him look like he really did have a 10, 12-year plan in the works that paid off. Now, when you watch the OT, you hear Obi-Wan say that, it just has so much more impact. So if he would have gone this direction, I think it would have completely taken away a lot of the respect that fans have for him now. Where like he's just this god level thinker, and it's like it would be a shame if anything started to kind of chip away at that.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like not even with just George, but anybody that you think of as like this revolutionary genius that has changed the world or whatever. It really pays to look and see all the spots where they could have screwed up, all the luck, how things fell so perfectly for them to get to where they're at. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes, kind of going back to what we first started talking about, that's what makes concepts so interesting. Original concepts is, oh, what could it have been? Because sometimes it's really cool, like in the case of the sequels, but sometimes like this, it's really not. And it's like, oh, I'm glad we didn't do that. And it gives you a greater respect for the story that we did end up getting to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So I guess my final question then for the evening here, and we'll get this wrapped up. But what any of these changes, do they speak to you in a way like, oh, I would have liked to have seen this, or are there any, like clone Landos where you're like, no. Like, does anything work for you? And I think we've all kind of came to terms like we don't want clone Landos, even though that'd be the coolest planet in the world. But
I'd like to see Lego clone Landos.
Ooh,
let's go with that. You know what I mean? Like that could be fun.
Good.
But yeah,
Marina, is there anything in here that would have worked? You would have liked to have seen changed?
I did like what we were talking about earlier with more Finn and Rose. I think they had a really good chemistry, a good character dynamic. And so anything we could have seen with more Finn would have been great. He had a lot of potential after the first movie. Very interesting character concept. And so I'm a big fan of woulda, coulda, shoulda with him.
Okay. Nice. What do you say? Imagine the tales that could be told of the First Order program and impact on the galaxy. Some gritty stuff. Andor-esque show fear, yes. And then we got God Level Thinker. That's got to be the name of the next band. Thanks, Marina. All right. I'll never beat the Mandalorian. So funny. Oh yeah, the Mandalorian was good.
That's true. Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Anything that really sticks out for you, or good, bad, the ugly?
I mean, I agree with Marina that the Trevorrow stuff, just taking some of those avenues, maybe not his exact script, but if they'd have made some different choices and gone with more of what he wanted to do rather than what we got, I mean, it is what it is. So we take what we can from it and we move forward. But I do think that movie could have been so much better.
Yeah, I hate to agree with the two of you because I want to be a little bit different, but out of these three, I feel like, yeah, I mean, just introducing some of those concepts and not throwing Rose Tico away. Like, I didn't really care for Rose's character. Like, I just like this whole storyline in The Last Jedi. It was just like, what is happening? But you have this established character. She did a great job. Like, give her something else to do. Like, Jana wasn't necessary. I'm glad we had more actors and stuff like that in the movie and everything. But she could have easily just been like, him and Rose could have gone on and done this. They've already done it once in a movie prior together. I don't know. So I'm gonna be with you guys, unfortunately, as far as not a lot of diversity on this episode. But I mean, these three are make it kind of tough because crazy clone Landos and Reverend and Bane, like none of us are experts in that area. So but yeah, I just think that would have been kind of crazy. Oh, here we go. The male Mandalorian. Nice, the mailman. All right. Well, Marina, I want to say first off, thank you for
thank you guys. This was really fun.
Yeah, certainly.
Tell everybody where they can find you, because I know you've got TikTok and Instagram, and you got a YouTube channel, right? So just talk about that a little bit. And folks, you've heard her talking. She's level-headed. She's got great takes on stuff. You need to get out there and follow her. YouTube, all those things. Go ahead, Marina. Go ahead. Tell them.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just on YouTube right now as far as video, and then audio only. You can hear me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite shows. And if you want to get more involved with my discussions, I encourage my listeners to send me an email at tvjpod@gmail.com. So the Village Jedi tvjpod. I'll read that live. We can discuss it together. And then, yeah, Instagram and TikTok is where else you can find me and interact with Star Wars. I'm just here to have a good time. So happy to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me on.
Nice.
It's good to have you.
I have this
Thanks.
sad Akbar voice. It's a wrap. Great show as usual, Scotland. Yeah, Aldani over
Thank
and
you.
out. The force be with you. I think you got some new friends out of this group. There you go. All right.
Excellent.
So
Thank
awesome,
you.
awesome. So Ryan, that was fun. Have a great night, everyone. You too, Ryan.
Hey, I want to
We got
wish
to read that
everybody
book.
happy,
Oh, you got the St.
happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we
That's
didn't wish
pretty
everybody
cute.
happy St. Patrick's Day. So, all
I'm
right.
gonna
Well,
go enjoy
awesome.
I'm gonna go enjoy some Irish whiskey right after
There
this.
you go.
Excellent.
Yes, you can do that. So, all right. Well, folks, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to thank you for joining us again. You're always welcome back here. Hopefully, we can get you back for some deep diving into Maul.
Yeah, that would be
yes.
great. That would be great. I love
right.
talking about it.
Everybody, go check out her stuff. It's really
Yes.
awesome. And we'll see you all
Great
next
stuff in the chats tonight too, guys.
Yes,
We
thank you,
really
guys.
appreciate you being there.